Hey guys, welcome to Brain Foods, where we feed not only your body, but also your mind. And today is March 14th, which makes it Pie Day. In honor of Pie Day, I'm going to make a very special cherry pie. Now before we begin, I kind of want to explain a little bit about what pie is. Now we're not talking about the kind of pie that you eat, we're actually talking about the number pi, which is the ratio between a circle's circumference to its diameter. Now that number never changes no matter how small or how big the circle gets. And when we write it out as a decimal, we usually write it as 3.14. But pi is actually an irrational number. Now what that means is that the number never ends, it just keeps going and going and going. So when you're writing it out, you can actually write it out as 3.141592653, and you can just keep going and going and going with it because it never ends. Now this is important in geometry because when you're trying to find the area of a circle, you're actually going to use the formula pi times the radius squared, or pi r squared, which is kind of funny because the kind of pies that you eat are not normally squared, they're round. Today I'm going to make a cherry pie that's square for pi r squared. So let's get started. Alright, to make our square pie, you're going to need 2 pie crusts. These are the kind that go in the refrigerator. They're pre-made and you just roll them out. That's what I've got here. You're going to need 2 of them. You're going to need 1 can of pie filling. I'm using cherry pie filling because I love cherry pie, and so that's what I'm using. But you can fill it with anything you want. You can fill it with apple, you can fill it with blueberry, you can fill it with chocolate, anything that you want. But I'm using cherry pie. We're also going to need a rolling pin, a sharp knife to cut our pie crusts, some cookie cutters. These are little tiny cookie cutters that I found at the store. You're going to need the numbers 3, 1, 4, 5, and 9 because we're going to put the numbers for pie onto our pie. And you're also going to need a square pie pan, but they actually don't make square pie pans, so I found this nice square cake pan. It's aluminum, so I'm going to use that. The main thing you want is something that's not too deep, because you don't want something that's too deep, and you also don't want something that has straight sides. You want something that's kind of got some sloped sides to it. So I'm using this. You can use whatever you can find, just something that's square to make our pie r squared pie. Alright, the first step is to take out our pie crusts, and I just let them warm up a little bit. We're going to unroll our pie crust. Gentle, 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 gentle. This is why you let it warm up a little bit, because if you did this while it was still cold, it would just fall apart. Trust me, I knew from experience. Alright, now we're going to take our rolling pin, and we're just going to gently roll it out just a little bit, back and forth like that, and then we're going to go this way. Now I'm going to take my square pan, and I'm going to gently take the pie crust up, being careful not to punch holes into it, and we're just going to lay it into the pan, and you're just going to press it into the corners, being very gentle with it. And then what you want to do is take a knife or fork, and you want to dock it, which means just poking little holes in the bottom. So poke, 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 poke. Then we're going to take our cherry pie filling, open up the can. Then we're just going to fill our pie crust with our cherry pie filling. Take a spoon and smooth it out. Smoothie, smoothie. Now we're just going to set this off to the side. We're going to take our other pie crust and just roll it out. Gentle, 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 gentle. Alright, now we're going to take our number cookie cutters and we're going to go right towards the center of the pie crust and go 3 and just shake that out. And save those little numbers that you cut out because we're going to put those on there too. So we got our 3. So there are our numbers, and I know it's upside down to you guys, but it looks good for me. Now, the next thing we're going to do is take our pie crust, and we're going to gently lift it off the board, being sure not to stretch the numbers out, and we're going to just set it right onto our pie pan. And we're going to press it down into the filling a little bit. Not all the way, but just a little bit. Alright, so now our top crust is on, and we've got the numbers cut out. So now I'm going to take a fork, and I'm just going to crimp along the side of the pan, just so that the crust kind of smushes together. Just like that. Go all around the whole thing, just crimpy, crimp the edges. Now we're going to take our sharp knife and we're just going to trim the excess dough right off the sides here, just so it's nice and even. Alright, so there's our square pie. Now I'm going to take a little bit of egg wash, which is just 1 egg and about a teaspoon of water, and I mixed it all together, and then I'm going to take a brush and I'm just going to brush around on the crust. Just brush like that. Now what this does is help the pie crust brown in the oven. And speaking of the oven, you're also going to want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Brush around all around on the crust. Brushy, brushy. Brushy, brushy. Now since I had these leftover numbers from when I punched out the numbers on there, I don't want those to go to waste, so I'm just going to put those right on top of the pan, on top of the crust I mean. And you just want to press these numbers right into the crust. Don't press real hard, they'll bake into it, that's fine. But I just didn't want those numbers to go to waste, so I put them right on top. So now we've got pie and pie on top of a square pie. So now we're going to bake this pie at 350 degrees for about 35 minutes, just until the crust is nice and golden brown. And I'll show you what that looks like when it gets done. Alright guys, our square pie is done baking, and it looks delicious. As you can see, we've got the number pi on it, 3.14159, and now comes the best part. I get to cut into it and eat it. So I'm going to cut just a little piece right here. Alright guys, I had a lot of fun making our square pie, and if you guys want to make it at home, go for it. It's a lot of fun to make, and if you want to share it with me on my Twitter, on my Pinterest, on my Facebook, on my Instagram. I have all those things, so I'll leave a link in the description to all my social media so you can share it with me on there. And if you send me those pictures, and you can even send it to me on my email address directly, I'll leave the email address on the screen right here for you guys to see. And if you send them to me, I'll put your pictures on my outro screen, so that way at the end of my videos you'll be able to see them, and everybody who watches my videos will see the pictures that you guys send me. I post brand new videos every week, so make sure to hit that big red subscribe button so you won't miss a single video. And I'll be back next week with a brand new recipe, so I'll see you guys then. Bye bye, and happy Pie Day!